We are live. Welcome back to another real estate Q&A show. And what we do on this show, you guys, is we take questions from my Instagram DM. We host this show live inside of our Facebook group. If you're not part of the Facebook group yet, we'll put a link in the description beneath this video if you're watching this on YouTube. The group is called Get Listings, where we help agents learn our reverse selling system and how to go about building a listing-based business in real estate. So if you want to have your question answered live on the show, all you have to do is go find me on Instagram. I'm at Brandon Mulrenan. Start following me, and then you can send me a message with whatever question you have. And we answer as many as we can on the show. This show, we do live Wednesdays in our Facebook group, and then we post the replay on YouTube Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. So with that, what's up, Colton? How you doing?
What's happening, man? Excited for another show.
Just living the dream, man. I'm excited. Real estate market here in Michigan opens up tomorrow on Thursday. So I am excited. Our agents are excited to get back to work, and I'm excited to jump into some questions and answer these for these guys.
Cool, man. Yeah, this is an exciting time. Crazy stuff we're going through, but it's looking a little normal. So first question we have is from Connor. He asked, do you have any advice on how to grow a YouTube channel as a real estate agent?
Yeah, awesome question. So this came in on our Instagram page, and yeah, I mean, where to start? There's a lot of advice. So when it comes to content marketing, YouTube is one of the things that agents can use to house their video content for sure. But more importantly, that YouTube is a great platform for real estate agents to generate leads, Colton, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as you and I both know. And most real estate agents aren't even on the YouTube platform. And it's amazing how many agents are not using video marketing right now to grow their business, to generate leads. And so when it comes to specifically YouTube, my number one piece of advice for agents is you have to create videos around searchable content. Searchable content. What does that mean? Well, if you look at any agents that are on YouTube right now, the interesting thing is they have a bunch of content that no one's ever searching for, right? They'll put content on there like home tour 123 Main Street. Well, they're never discovered. They're never going to generate any leads that way. So the first thing is you want to go into the YouTube platform, start doing some research. When you type into YouTube, let me give you some examples. Like homes for sale, Tampa, Florida. Like that thing probably gets, and actually let me share my screen. I'll do some right now, Colton. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's sweet.
That would be really good for people to see. Let me pop this open. So here's an example. This will be really good for the show, for people to kind of see what's going on. All right, let me give everyone an example. So if I put in Tampa, Florida, or let's just say homes for sale, Tampa, Florida. All right, so you can see on my screen, I've got some YouTube plugins that I think other agents should also get, like keywords everywhere, TubeBuddy, or some things to put on your computer. But you can see, if you look closely, this is telling me, YouTube is telling me that 170 people a month are searching for that specific keyword, right? So let me give you another example. Tampa homes for sale. Look at that keyword. 5,400 people a month are searching that keyword, right? So if you click on this, you're going to see this agent, Melanie, does a phenomenal job in Tampa, Florida. This one video has 15,000 views over the past 7 months. I guarantee you, this agent right here, Colton, is getting tons of leads, tons of traffic from her YouTube channel because she's making searchable content, right? She's making searchable content. So agents have to get out of, just posting whatever they want on the platform, and they need to start making videos that people are already searching for. I'll give one more example. like how to stuff always works well. How to buy a house in, let's just say, how to buy a house with bad credit, as an example. 5,400 people search that term every 30 days on YouTube. And so imagine for a second if you made a video like that and you rank as the #1 video. Well, look at this guy. 67,000 views on this video because he's making searchable content. So that's the whole point. The whole point is realtors have to stop making ego-based content about themselves and content that will help other people that is searchable. That's a good place to start. If an agent can consistently do that, they'll start building a nice audience and they'll start providing a ton of value to people in their local communities.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And live in the group here, Jade from our program, he commented that he's got to start doing this like this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so many agents, Colton, right now, they're just, there's a lot of reasons why agents don't make content, none of which is is justified. But regardless of the reason, agents have to commit to start making content. In this new world, in this modern era, the agent that is winning the most eyeballs is going to win. It's the same thing as agents in the past that had all the billboards, the bench, the bus benches, the commercials, all the mailers, and all the radio shows. Like, those were the top agents in the marketplace. Well, here's a little secret: all content marketing is free. This is what just blows my mind, that agents are not taking advantage of this. And it's because they just don't know, they haven't done it yet, so they don't know the power of it. For you and I, both in our coaching business and in our real estate practice, our business has exploded because of content marketing. Would you agree?
100%. And the biggest thing about it too, like, you know, in your content, you're a huge proponent of prospecting, right? Generating business, being proactive. But at a certain point, it's, you know, being able to use your time more effectively. Like that video that the one lady posted in Florida, that thing has 15,000 views in 7 months, and it's going to live on another 70 months, you know?
That's right. Content marketing, that's a great point. I mean, you make it one time and you can generate leads from it forever, but an agent has to commit to it, because if they do it once in a while, it won't work. I just dropped a video, you know, on our YouTube channel today about content marketing. You guys can go check that out. I'll put a link beneath this video. But you just have to commit to it, because all of your clients, all of your sphere, the whole community, their eyeballs are where? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, right? That's where the eyeballs live. So if you're not on those platforms, you're just not going to be relevant in the future. And it's such a simple, easy thing to do, and it's free. And the agents that are taking advantage of this, their businesses are skyrocketing, because, to your point, they're prospecting for now business. They're putting content marketing out there for long-term business, and they have both things happening at the same time. That's why these agents' businesses are exploding.
Yep. And that's the difference. So many people think it's one thing or the other. It can coexist, right?
That's right.
Awesome. So, okay, going on to the next question here. This is from, I believe, a YouTube comment from Fuller Properties. Actually, this is funny. You and I were starting to chat about this yesterday, so I'm excited to see your response here. They asked, in the video, I don't know what video they're referring to, but there was a video you posted on how to get FSBOs to list with you. And you mentioned something that when working with a buyer's agent, it's actually free to the buyer. And some agents would disagree and say that the buyer is actually just paying the commission baked into a higher sales price. And how would you respond to that?
Yes. I love this question. So yeah, the question is, you know, I made a comment on, like when I'm working with the for sale by owner, I'm explaining to the for sale by owner that the value of a buyer's agent, right? Why most buyers work with a buyer's agent. One of those reasons is it doesn't cost the buyer any money. a lot of untrained or newer agents to the business will look at that and say, wait a minute. Yes, they do. You know, they're just, they're having to pay a higher sales price because they're using an agent. Well, here are some things to think through and to consider. One, sales price of a property, of a piece of real estate, has nothing to do with real estate commissions. Realtors have to get our egos out of this. We think everything revolves around us. It doesn't. The reality, Colton, is that we are a necessary evil, and we provide a great value and a great service to the consumer. But let's be honest, they would prefer it if they didn't have to use us, right? I mean, that's the reality. There's a study that's done every single year with different industries and where the consumer ranks these industries from a respect standpoint. Realtors rank at the bottom every year, every single year. The consumer puts realtors at the lowest point out of any industry. So number one, a realtor has to understand that commissions have nothing to do with a sales price. Now, an agent that's watching this is saying, well, you know, when I talk to a seller, they're taking into consideration paying commissions and things of that nature. We've done that as an industry, right? Because let me prove it to people that are watching this. Anybody watching this, in the comment section beneath this video, show me an appraisal that has a line item that says realtor commissions. Doesn't have one. They're nowhere to be found. Nowhere does an appraiser take into consideration what was the realtor commission on this property versus this property, and how does that affect the value? Nope, doesn't happen, never going to happen, makes no difference. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, Colton, this is like the end all be all, right? This is the thing that is like, okay, well, yeah, that makes a lot more sense, Brandon. Here's something for you guys to consider. That thought, Colton, would suggest that an owner of a property, and again, you guys let me know if this has ever happened to you guys, the owner of a property has different sales prices. That would suggest that the seller says, okay, if an agent or if a buyer comes to me with an agent, I'm going to sell it at this price. If a buyer comes to me without an agent, I'm going to sell it at this price. Well, that's not what happens. The seller determines, okay, this is the price that I want. I don't care about agent or not. This is the price that I want, right? And so, because here's why. Again, agents would watch that and say, no, that's not true. If there's no buyer's agent, I can get the seller to negotiate more on price. Well, tell me when you ever had a seller tell you proactively, oh, that guy, that buyer doesn't have an agent, I'm going to lower my price by 3%. It's never happened. Never happened in my 15-year career. Tell me if it's happened to you guys. Tell me when a seller has asked you as an agent and said, okay, if a buyer comes to my house, I'm asking $200,000 for my house, 3% is $6,000. If that person does not have an agent, I will give them a better deal. I'll lower the cost of the house by $6,000. Never going to happen. So real estate commissions and the sales price and the value of a home, no correlation. We've got to get that out of our mind. A commission it's the same way with anything. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with anything. You know, a commission is paid based off of a service performed. That's it.
That's right.
Because, well, I could go on and on about that, but those are the three real reasons why.
Well, and I think where it starts, man, and I'm sure you've gotten this, I've even gotten it before. I think where this thought gets put into their head is when they're prospecting FSBOs, for an example. And
right.
for our script, right, one of our questions is, are you willing to work with a buyer's agent if we brought you a buyer? And I've even gotten this before where they say, well, you know, I mean, if you can bake their, the commission into the sales price, if you can roll, then we would, right? I feel like that's a starting point where a lot of agents are like, oh, commission and sales price have a correlation somehow.
That's a great point. You know, what happens is, as newer agents come into the business, they allow that type of communication from a seller to influence them, right? They're being influenced by the consumer, where it should be the other way around. That is such a great point. That is where it probably comes from. The for sale by owner says, yeah, if your commission's on top of my sales price, sure, I'll work with you. What happens 90% of the time? The for sale by owner sells at the price that the house was going to sell for, less commissions, because they have no control over that. The for sale by owner has no control over price. They don't have any control over any of that. But the amateur, untrained realtor, Colton, gets bought into that stuff. They take the bait, which is something we train agents not to do.
Yep, that's a good discussion. That's true. All right, moving on to, it's from, I don't know, Amini2K. I think it was a YouTube comment. They said, how do I change the first call strategy that you talk about, in terms of setting a face-to-face appointment? How do I twist that during this period of time with coronavirus?
Yeah, I mean, every show, it seems like that question comes up. It's definitely our number one question that we get. All you guys have to do is transition from setting a face-to-face appointment to setting a Zoom appointment. How do you do that? Well, Brandon, I was using the preview appointment as my leverage to go see them face-to-face. So now that that's gone, why would somebody want to meet with me on a video conference, right? That's the question. So what they have to do, Colton, as you know, is they have to focus their conversations away from coming to see the property in the event they have a buyer, which is something you should not do anyway, and focus on communicating around a backup strategy for a homeowner to consider when and if the day comes, they consider interviewing and hiring an agent. So very simply, the script goes that we work with all of our students is, Colton, let me ask you this. If 30, 60, 90 days goes by and for some reason you don't get an offer, you can't sell the property on your own, you consider selling the house again in the future, would you at that point considering great agents to help you get the property sold? And be honest.
I think we'll probably sell it, but if 90 days goes by, we'll consider maybe some other things.
Awesome. So typically what I'm doing, what I've done in the past is I've gone in to preview all of the for sale by owners that have hit the marketplace. Well, right now we're not doing that. And so what I propose is this: for us to jump on a quick 15, 20-minute Zoom video call. I'd like to walk you through a backup strategy, Colton, for something that is designed specifically for people just like you to get your property sold at top dollar in the event you don't sell on your own. Is that fair? Right? So that's what the script sounds like to set these up so that you're on Zoom calls presenting what we call a backup strategy, regardless of lead source, whether that be expireds, FSBO, probate, absentee owner, it doesn't matter what the lead source is. The approach is the same.
That's awesome, Dan. And going back to something you pound on all the time is, it's like, if you guys like what you just heard from Britton, you can't just hear that like you just did and know it, right? Like you're not gonna be able to say it how he just said it, right? So rewind this, handwrite it out, go over and over and over again. And Brandon, maybe if I can give them a bit of sneak peek here, we're gonna be gifting you guys something behind the scenes. I think this week or next week, depending on our schedule, is what we do with our own coaching company to help our agents is role play, right? And practice. So actually on that exact script Brandon just gave you, it's like 57 minutes, just straight deep dive repetition, some really key principles to help master that. We're going to be dropping that on Brandon's channel. So stay tuned for that. And Brandon, if you want to add on to that and the reason why that's so important.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it, right? I mean, so every Tuesday, we do a skills-based session with all of our students in our training program. And just yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday, this is what we worked on for an hour, right? Is how to set Zoom video calls. Because the goal right now is the agent that does that the most right now, the agent that has the biggest pipeline of people that they've done video conferences with like this, once we get past this outbreak, they're going to win big in the second half of 2020. And so, yeah, we spent an hour on that yesterday with our students. And yeah, we're going to give some people on our YouTube channel a behind the scenes look to what those sessions look like, but specifically with that question, so you know how to approach your prospecting phone calls to set up Zoom appointments. So yeah, they'll get a lot out of that call, I think, for sure.
It'd be awesome. All right, we've got a couple more questions lined up here, and then we've got actually some coming in from the Facebook group too. So let's wrap these ones up and jump over there. So really good question from probably a YouTube channel, Morel Family. They asked, how do you organize your lead follow-up?
Yeah, awesome question. So I'm going to get through this as quick as I can. So we look at short-term lead, long-term lead, okay? So we define, for you guys that are watching this, for our students, we define a short-term lead as somebody that's going to do business with you in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Typically, not always, but typically these are active sellers in the marketplace. FSBOs, expireds, old expires, absentee owners, probates, people going through divorce, leads like that. These are people actively looking to sell their property. Those leads, Colton, as you know, they're going to get a weekly phone call, right? They're all going to go into a database or a file of some sort. I use a physical file. All of those leads coming in, regardless of where they're coming in from. There you go. Yep. Zillow, FSBO, expired, any active lead, any active buyer or seller that's going to buy or sell a house in the next 30, 60, 90 days is going to get housed in one place. Those people are going to get a phone call every Monday. They're going to get a video email every Wednesday. They're going to get a text message every Friday. And then they're going to get a piece of direct mail in their mailbox every single week. And so just to give them an example of like what we do and what our students do is, so like as a for sale by owner, we'll send them a for sale by owner card in the mail, right? Talking about our backup plan. They'll get this card in the mail every single week, in addition to the phone call, email, and text message. That's short-term leads. Now we talk about long-term leads. This is sphere of influence, referral partners, maybe people that you're circle prospecting. These are your sellers and buyers looking to do something 6 months and beyond. Those people are going to get a monthly phone call, monthly piece of mail, weekly email. So go back and watch that. If you do what I just said for the person asking that question, your lead follow-up will be very systematic, very organized, and you'll get a lot more business. And so just so you guys all know, 85% of my business comes through lead follow-up.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the fanciness of how you're doing it or anything special you're doing. It's just systematic. You don't have to think about it, and it just happens every single week.
It's just doing it. That's it.
All right, so last question we had here from the Musician Realtor. What are some mindset hacks to focus on for real estate agents?
Ooh, I love that question. Great question. Yeah, so I saw that one come in on my Instagram page. All right, so mindset. So there's something that we teach called the success triangle, okay? And so at the bottom of this triangle, I almost want to draw it for them, but at the bottom of this triangle is filled with 80% of what we believe success is made up of, and that's mindset. 15% is activity and effort, and then 5% is your skills. So when we look at mindset, here are some mindsets, Colton, I think people can take away from this that will help them achieve more, but more importantly, behave a different way to do more. One, they've got to detach from the outcome. Too many realtors are focused on the listing, the closing, the money, the showing. They're so attached to results and outcome that they lose sight of the activities that lead to the outcome. And so the first mindset, the most important mindset hack in real estate is falling in love with the activity, because numbers and money follow, they don't lead. So if an agent can design their days off of activities to say, okay, how am I going to win today? Well, I'm going to base it off of activities. If I do X, Y, and Z activity, those activities lead to closings. They lead to money earned. They lead to listings. But so many agents will do something one time, they won't get a listing out of it, Colton, and they stop doing it, right? So then they start getting shiny object syndrome, creative avoidance. They stop doing the activities that led to the closing in the first place, and their business falls apart. So the most important mindset you can have in this business is just detach from the outcome. The same thing when you're meeting with a client. We teach this as one of our sales philosophies with reverse selling. You've got to detach from the outcome. You can't worry about making the sale or not, because as soon as you start to smell like commission breath, you're over. It's done.
That's huge, man. And I think something that's so important to wrap onto that with, obviously mindset is the most important thing. You talk about this all the time. An agent can be using the worst script in the world. They can be doing whatever. And if they're doing the activity and being consistent, they'll start to see results. So I feel like one thing I want you to clarify, because a lot of people might listen to that and say, oh, cool, skills is only 5%, right? I don't have to be that good. But I feel like each one of those 5 points of skill isn't 1 out of 100. It's worth its weight in gold, right? And each percentage you get better just compounds and exponentially makes you better, which is why we focus on our role play and skills call. Can you dive on that a little bit?
Yeah. That's a really good clarification. So what our success triangle means, the 80-15-5 principle, is this. This is the best way I can put it. A person with dynamic skills and a shitty mindset and no activities is going to fail. A person with a great mindset, phenomenal activities, with the worst script on planet Earth is going to win. But if that person with the great mindset, great activities and effort, and good skills, when all 3 of those come together, that's where we see these agents' businesses really get to 50, 60, 80, 100 deals a year. These are the people making $500,000 a year. That's what that means, right? It's not that skills are less important than the other thing, but here's the bottom line. With the right mindset, then people, that's how you change someone's behavior. When you change their behavior, you change their activity, right? So those are all the things that are the most important. Once those things are in lockstep and they're in line, then we start working on a skill set, because it makes no sense to get somebody highly skilled if they make 1 phone call a week. That's why it's designed that way.
Perfect. You could have said it better. And can you give really quick 1 tactical example of something you've done to help with your mindset?
Yeah. So I think going back to detaching from the outcome is making it a focus of, so here's the best one, right? So 50 contacts a day. If you build your whole business plan, your whole day and your whole week around 250 solid conversations, your business will be fine. You'll never have to worry about money again. That's what I mean. That's a tactical thing that I'm talking about, is like, go out there and have 250 conversations with homeowners in 5 days from now and watch what happens. That's the point. Don't worry about anything else. Go do that first. Every agent wants to worry about, well, what about my business card? And what about my presentation? What about my website? And oh man, I don't have money for my bills. Go have 50 good, solid, quality conversations every day, and your business and your money and your finances and your future will be taken care of forever. It's that simple.
Love it, man. That's awesome. So last little question we have here coming from our comments in the group, and then we'll wrap this up, is from Lath. He said that he's been doing his own thing with FSBOs, where he's creating them a free website to advertise their property and be able to promote it on Facebook. He said he's had good success with creating the website at the appointment, but not so great success of getting listings out of that. Yeah. So the way he puts it at the end is there a way to integrate this method into your system and the whole backup plan idea? 100%.
And this is such a good thing. Thank you for the question, Lath, because what you're asking is one of the most common popular questions that our students ask inside of our program, right? And that is, hey, how do I take your approach of leading with contribution, leading with value, helping them sell on their own, not pressuring them to do listing, to actually get the listing? There's a big disconnect right there, right? So here's how you do it, Laith. You have to be intentional with what it is that you'd like to see happen in the future. Now, what does that mean? Let me be a little bit more specific. So the agents that do really well with for sale by owners, the reason why I do so well with for sale by owners, and any lead source for that matter, is because I'm intentional with the conversation around the for sale by owner. Let me give you an example. So Laith, I'll pretend to be you, all right? And Colton, you pretend to be the for sale by owner.
All right.
So Colton, what I do that I think is a lot different than what a lot of agents do in the marketplace is I am never going to pressure you to list your property with me. I would like to be a resource for you to help you get the property sold on your own, because I believe, regardless of what other agents are telling you in the marketplace, you can sell this property on your own. And if you can, you should do that. And that's exactly what you're doing. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying.
So what I propose is this. What I'd like to do is this. I'm going to help you build a website. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. I'm going to help you along the way. And in return, if you can't sell the property on your own, Colton, I would love the opportunity to interview to help you get the property sold, show you what I can do in the future, if and when we ever got to that day. Do you think that's reasonable?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And that is what agents have to do. They're so scared to bridge that gap, but that is what they have to do in order to stop losing listings, because they're not going to win them just by being nice. They have to be intentional with what I just said. They have to set it up where, hey, I support you with what you're doing today, and you should do what you're doing today, and I'll never try to convince you otherwise. However, if the day ever comes where what you're doing doesn't work, you better be intentional with asking for that interview opportunity down the road. When an agent does that, those things come together: contribution, law of reciprocity, provide value, show them the way, and you combine that with setting it up from day one that you'd like an opportunity to interview to help them down the road if they got there. Man, they will just dominate the marketplace.
Yeah, that's great, man. Thanks for asking, Laith.
So if you guys have further questions in the future, you can join our Facebook group here on Get Listings. We'll put a link beneath this video. And then, or you can go and find me on Instagram is the best place. So you can send me a direct message, and then Colton and I will unpack all the questions that come in over the week and make sure that we answer them. So Colton, another good show, man. Thanks for being here today.
Yep, I'm excited for next week.
Awesome. You guys stay safe, keep pushing your business moving forward, and we'll see you guys next week.